Good afternoon, lady and gentlemen. Your commissioner and host is here for the Week 7 recap, Week 8 preview. Can you believe we're already in Week 8 of the NFL season? You can't? Well, sorry. Believing or not, it is. All right, guys, I'm teetering on the precipice of despair and utter despair because this season just continues to find new ways to just make my jaw drop at these baffling ways in which I'm losing. However, I'm not the only one. Sure, am I going to throw a pity party in this video? You betcha. 5-game losing streak. What is there not to mourn and complain about? But I'm not the only one that's had a sore hand dealt them. Whatever the expression would have been, insert it there. All right, that's what she said. Okay, all right, so here we go. So Week 7. Week 7, guys, I had a really great week. I was really proud of my team. 114 points. My projection was 108. Exceeded expectations, guys. That was my nickname in high school. Jackson Dart, this is my best fantasy move of the year. 28 points for me. Thanks, Jax. Then this other dude, Kayshawn Butt, or Butte. Either way, Kayshawn, you got to work with that last name, buddy. I picked him up off the waivers last week. 12 points. Now, that's not a lot of points, but it's not a lot for someone that was a waiver pickup. So, anyways, all that to say, 114. I was feeling pretty happy. In fact, the first game of the day was that 9 o'clock game, and Brandon's running back, Etienne Jr., was supposed to get him 12, and only got him 6. I was like, you know what? Maybe the tides are turning. And then I went to church, and then I turned on the TV, and I looked at my app, and holy smokes, guys. 26 for Mahomes, 36 for McCaffrey, 18 for Addison, 24 for your tight end. I got 18. I thought that was great. 24 for Trey McBride for the Cardinals. What are we talking about, guys? 18 for your kicker, 11 for your defense, and all of that equals 156 points. And it's getting exhausting losing to these super high scores. But lose I did. In fact, I could have lost even worse if he hadn't started. Maybe instead of Rashad White getting only 6.4, what a joke. He could have played A.J. Brown off his bench with 27 points. You could have beaten me, Brandon. 170-something. That would have been like Greg last week. But no, thanks for only beating me by 40 this time. All right, so I've lost 5 in a row. Started 2-0, lost 5 in a row, 2-5. Brandon, 4-3. Congrats. Yes, stinker. Speaking of stinkers, Sean, you are who I was also referencing with being dealt a bad sore hand. Well, I don't know what I was talking about. Anyways, I don't know if I've ever seen a collapse like this one. And that's the thing about fantasy football. Sean, you did nothing wrong. You did a great job, in fact. You beat your projection of 113, and you scored 121. You got 24 from your quarterback. You got 18 and 12 from your running backs. You got 19 from Rashee Rice. Way to go, Dan, you ding-dong. How did that work out for you? All right, 19 in his first game back with the Chiefs. CeeDee Lamb comes back off the IR, 16 points from him. Now, Kittle did get you 0, so maybe you should have started who's your other tight end. You don't have another one. Interesting choice. Well, I guess you played who you could have played. Anyways, you lost. You had some other points on your bench. Maybe instead of, instead of Tutoria McMillan, who nobody's heard of. I don't know why you would start him over these guys you keep trying to trade me. Like Michael Pittman Jr. I think I've gotten 2 trade offers from you, and you refuse to start him. What's up with that, buddy? Anyways, he got you 17 points on the bench. Please trade him. But I wish that I'd written down the score, because I think Matt was down by 50 points, and he had Jahmyr Gibbs and another dude that no one's ever heard of. I don't think Baker Mayfield had heard of Tez Johnson before Monday night's game. And wouldn't you know it, old Tez scores the touchdown, 13.8 for him. And then Jahmyr Gibbs, just a casual 39.3 points. What is going on, guys? I don't think I recall in the previous years every week 3 to 4 people getting 40-point players, 30-point players. it's just getting a bit excessive because I'm never one of them. All right, and even if I was, then I would play against a person with a 50-point person. Okay, that's all I was going to say about that. Congratulations, Matt, with the giant comeback from behind victory, 128 to 121. Incredible. Matt is 5-2, and guys, we're spared because Matt was about to start, he's going to grow his hair out again, dye it super black, and just start, woe is me, I've lost 3 in a row, what happened to this season? In fact, I think Matt even started writing some type of song for an emo punk band entitled My Team is Terrible, when all of a sudden Jahmyr Gibbs scored 3 touchdowns of 70 yards, and then he ripped up and burned that piece of paper. But don't worry, we'll see it in another week when Matt plays me and loses. Yeah, right. All right, anyways, Dan Pond taking on Bijan. Now, Greg, this is the same Bijan's mustard that scored 170 points against me last week, right? Why did you forget the 100 there, pal? 73 for Greg to Dan's 102. Now, Dan, congrats. You won. You played Greg on the right week. 73, Greg? You just saved that extra 100 for me because you hate me so much? Probably. Don't answer that question. All right. Well, I don't even know what to say. I've got nothing else to say. There's nothing to say about that one. I've said it all. Congrats to Dan, 4-3. Greg falls to 3-4, and I'm not the slightest bit unhappy about that. Jason taking on Michael. Jason, slightly below average team. Change your name, pal, because you are now 3-4, losing to Michael 138 to 85. Michael even played some not right people, leaving Bo Nix's 39 points on the bench. Daniel Jones, though, Indiana Jones getting you 22 points, 18 Josh Jacobs, Ramondre Stevenson, 15. I think every single person but your defense and kicker got double digits, and that equals 138. So congrats to Michael, 5-2. Jason falls to 3-4. On your bench, pal, not much you could have done. Only 31 total bench points. Michael had 64 bench points. Tough sled in there, Jason. I think you've lost 4 in a row. You started 3-0. You're 4-0. But your team just hasn't been scoring a lot. So more on that later. All right, it's going to be May taking on Carlos, chasing Allen to London. I still hate that name, but I don't want you to change it at this point because it's just so tacky and weird. It better stay. Steven, 116 to 95. Congrats, Steven. You're moving up in the rankings. 4-3 to Carlos's 2-5. Yeah. Carlos, you've called this out yourself. If you had started Keenan Allen instead of Mike Evans, you got fancy there. Dude coming off of the IR. Same with Sean. You two both. Ooh, first game back after. They must be all rested up. They're going to go off for a big game. 0 points between Mike Evans and George Kittle. So if you had played Keenan Allen, you're winning that game, and you would not be tied for last with me. So thank you, pal. Appreciate it. But you did win your 3rd prop bet in 7 weeks. You may be 2-5, but you're $30 richer. This season's only cost you $20. I can't believe it. And it also came in the Thursday night game, which is just kind of like anticlimactic because the whole week everyone's just trying to chase Jamar Chase and couldn't do it. 31 points for him. That was basically half your score. Congrats to you, pal. The last matchup of the week was husband and wife. And Hannah, what the heck is going on with your team? You are not the queen. You are, what's her name? Meghan Markle? Who married Prince Harry? Her, right? Yeah, you wish you were royalty, but unfortunately, you're not. You're just underperforming, and Netflix is going to cancel your podcast deal. Maybe that was Spotify. Either way, Mike showed who the breadwinner in fantasy is. 124 to 52. 52! If you had started Matthew Stafford, you could have had 68 or something. You still would have lost by a ton. Your team just didn't do... I mean, Xavier Leggett? That's a pretty good last name for a wide receiver. Anyways, you didn't play him. It didn't matter. If you had played those 2 top people on your bench, the best you're doing is maybe like 80 points. All right, so that's our week 7. That's our week 7 recap. It was pretty wild. We'll go through our week 8 projections here in a second if I can find the right tab for that. And then we'll go into our prop bet. All right, scoreboard for week 8 projected. We've got Gone Fishing 5-2, first in the East against Jeff Boys 2-5, sixth in the East. Projection right now: Jeff 101 to Matt's 99. Let's keep it that way, pal. Brandon's taking on Dan Pond, two teams that are 4-3 right now. What the heck, Dan? You are projected to lose 119 to 72. Check your lineup, pal. Greg 3-4 taking on Jason 3-4. Somebody gets to go to 500. And it's not going to be me. Right now, Greg projected 108 to Jason 73. Must be a heavy bye week for folks. Sean 5-2. Nope, sorry. Yeah, I'll just go to Sean because that wasn't next. But Sean taking on Mike. Mike is 4-3. Sean's 3-4 right now. Projected Mike 114 to Sean's 113. Michael is taking on Steven. That's a 5-2. Taking on a 4-3. 4-3. Right now, Michael's projected to win 116 to Steven's 89. Last matchup, 2-5 Carlos taking on 3-4 Queen. Projected right now, Carlos 109 to Hannah's 81.3. All right, guys, I went through because I had this inkling that when people play me, they have their highest scoring week of the year. And I went through, indulge me for just a second. I've got more that comes out of this that involves everybody. I've lost 5 games in a row. 3 of those 5 times have been the person's highest scoring week of the year. When I lost to Jason, Jason scored 120 against me, and his average when he's not playing me is 85 points a week. Jason, friend, what's going on? Next up, I played Dan Pond. Dan Pond, his highest score was 25, so he saved his second best score for me. He scored 115. If you remove what Dan's average score when he's not playing Jeff is 89. He scored 115. What the heck? Okay, moving on up the ladder here. Sean, his highest scoring was 121, scored 115 against me. When Sean's not playing Jeff, he scores 94 points a week. Greg, what the heck, dude? Scored 170 against me. When you are not playing a Jeff, you score 104 points a week. That was your highest scoring week, obviously. Brandon, when you're not playing a Jeff, you score 111, which is a very high score. But you scored 157 against me. So, Jason, Brandon, and Greg, just saving your best scoring weeks against me. And I'm quite frankly, Triple H. That was a line from WWF when I was a wee lad. Who even said that? Anyways, Triple H, that was a dude. I always liked the Hardy Boys, maybe because the one Hardy brother's name was Jeff. Do you guys remember Rikishi? How is that legal to be on like normal television that kids had to sneak around and watch, but you can still watch Rikishi stink face someone? Anyways, we could go down and talk about old wrestling. Did you know that the Kane, remember Kane and The Undertaker? Kane is now the mayor of some town down in Tennessee, and my brother-in-law, who's a volunteer medic and firefighter or something, paramedic, regardless, has met him. So that's kind of cool. He's really tall. My brother-in-law, and Kane, is even taller. Okay, so I went through because, 13 minutes. I got to make it fast. I went through and just looked at what people's points for were and then points against were. I also looked at the actual playoffs and then playing this whole like average ranking thingy if we were playing against the league average. And the actual playoffs right now is Michael's the 1 seed, Matt's the 2 seed, Mike's the 3 seed, Brandon's the 4 seed, Steven's the 5 seed, Dan is the 6 seed, according to our league right now. If we were in a bizarro world where we're playing against the average, Michael's still in first, Matt's still in second, Mike's still in third, Brandon's still in fourth, but Greg would be the 5 seed and Steven would be the 6 seed. Interesting. Greg, maybe you would want me to change the rules mid-season, buddy. But no, you're going to stick to your guns. Right now, you're on the outside looking in, but you would be on the inside probably soon looking out. Okay, so I took the average points for the points scored against. Guys. I have 834 points scored against me. That's not fun. Because Dan Pond, who's 4-3, and has 2 more wins than I am, has only had 621 points against him. That's 88 a week. I'm averaging 119 against me a week. And I'm averaging scoring 103 points, and Dan's only averaging 92 points. So, Dan, I'm not picking on you, but I'm definitely picking on you. So what I did is I took everyone's points. I took the average points for, the points against. I took our records. I threw it all into ChatGPT and said, hey, ChatGPT, tell me. I didn't even tell them what team mine was. I just wanted to know, hey, tell me tell me what the true midseason snapshot is based on people's points for and everything. Tell me what you think. Tell me who you think should be in first place. And here's the summary. I didn't add any of this wording. This is straight from ChatGPT. And it says, the true midseason snapshot, Midnight Mike and ChatGPT are true tier 1 teams, both averaging 118 a week and crushing the league average. Bijan's Mustard, Unlimited Vetoes, and Gone Fishing are solid contender tier. The Dallas Jeff Boys are, quote, a biggest unluckiest team, scoring decently but getting destroyed by schedule, slightly above average, and the Queen are right where the points say they should be, struggling. So, pretty harsh. And then one last thing that I thought was pretty interesting. It said right now on the luck index through 7 weeks that Dan Pond is the luckiest team, easiest schedule so far, should have fewer wins. It's going to be May, has strong schedule luck. Midnight Mike is already elite, but schedule also helped. Bijan's Mustard and the Queen are neutral as far as luck goes. And then Unlimited Vetoes, mildly unlucky. Chasing Allen and Gone Fishing, slightly unlucky. Creature, mildly unlucky. Slightly unlucky for ChatGPT. Jason says, bad team plus tough schedule equals rough combo. And then at the very unluckiest thing on this luck index summary through 7 weeks, the Dallas Jeff Boys most unlucky in the week. According to the true power rankings adjusted for strength for schedule, the number 1 team is Midnight Mike. The number 2 team is ChatGPT. Number 3 is Bijan's Mustard. 4 is Unlimited Vetoes. 5 is Gone Fishing. 6 is Dallas Jeff Boys. 7 Chasing Allen. So Carlos, you and I would be 6 and 7 according to this. How good our team is compared to how unlucky we are playing against the league. And then it's going to be May, Dan Pond, the Queen, and bottom tier is Jason. So anyways, some pretty interesting stuff. There's graphs, there's charts. It's actually kind of fun putting this stuff into ChatGPT. Anyways, I'm sorry, 17 minutes. That was way too long. Watch this on 2-speed. I'll make sure that I put that in the chat so you guys know to not watch. Don't spend 17 minutes of your life watching me ramble about fantasy football, for crying out loud. Okay. Our prop bet for week 8 is called the Calm Down Award. It goes to the team with the most touchdowns by their starting players for that week. Ah, crap. Matt's going to win because he's playing me. So he's probably going to have the highest scoring team of the week. Again, okay, just one more time. The Calm Down Award, the team with the most touchdowns by the starting players. So it may not even be the highest scoring team. Probably will be the highest scoring team, but most touchdowns scored. So, Greg, get your little taunt button ready. I hope you have none to do this week, but we're scoring. Each team will tracks the total touchdowns by the starting players. If there is a tie, then we will go with the highest scoring team. That will be the tiebreaker. All right, folks, check your lineups. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Farewell.